the gentleman from New York for both his leadership and his inspiration. You obviously care. That's why you're on the floor tonight. I think that's the point that I want to make. It looks as if we are lonely on this floor tonight. It looks as if we are in the eve of the day's work. It looks as if we could be somewhere else. But I can tell you, as a district in Houston that is surrounded by universities, and I know that I will get somewhat in trouble for trying to call the roll of the universities around the 18th Congressional District, like the historic Texas Southern University, University of Houston, St. Thomas University, Houston Baptist, the Lone Star, Houston Community College, San Jac, and I know someone is texting me right now. But I am full of college students, all of them working very hard. And I thought I would bring to the floor today the Constitution. I love the words of the Declaration of Independence, the opening words that we are all created equal with certain inalienable rights of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. Does that mean the students that are right now struggling to make ends meet? I think that famous noodle meal that they eat because they just don't have the money to survive. Does that mean that one person that is still the first person to go to college in 2021? Does that mean the person, the single mother, that has made it to 20-some hours and has to drop out? America has always said that the American dream is defined singularly by your presence here in the United States. But yet we're finding that state and federal policymakers are ignoring the $1,730 million plus of national student debt, and that 1/4, 1/3, 1/6 of the American people, 47 million, about that number, 900,000, are indebted to student debt. That's why we're here on the floor today, recognizing that it also is an imbalance. I thank Mr. Bowman, an educator, who has seen little babies grow up with little stars in their eyes. They can play a piano, or they can play an instrument, or he sees them playing on the field or recreation, and they are little scientists, scholars. But yet the hopes and dreams of the opportunity is somewhat denied. Black families must take on more debt for the same degree as white students and often need to get several degrees in order to be in the middle class. The burden of student debt reaches deep into communities of color. Increasing evidence suggests that it is hampering the ability to build wealth. One of the reasons my good friend and myself are also interested in the idea of the Commission to Study Slavery and Develop Reparation Proposals is to get a roadmap of some of the populations that are impacted negatively by student debt. Default and delinquency rates on student loans remain appallingly high, and 3.6 million students are in the state of Texas. And the nation carries the 1.7 trillion debt, and we know that 79% of black students had student debt by their 4th year. We know it impacts our Latinx families and families that come from rural communities. We are concerned about them. I hold in my hand the Constitution, as I said. I don't know how many students have time to even look in that direction, but I will tell them that the Founding Fathers, although not perfect, said that they came together to create a more perfect union. And what does that mean? I think it means that give us hope, give us a lifeline, let us breathe, let us be able to buy the things that will help our families. Let us not be, as a black male borrower, default on loans within 12 years of beginning school. This, of course, covers a gamut of all of America. It is not just the issue of people of color. It impacts older borrowers, 60 and older, swelled from 700,000 in 2005 to 2.8 million in 2018. Their debt load was $8.2 billion. Can you imagine being 60 and older and still paying debt? I came here to the floor tonight because I wanted to join the gentleman for people to see that in spite of the fact that we're here at a moment into the evening, we care about getting this done. It must be the Congress and the administration that takes a hold of this and determines that people who are now struggling to pay mortgages, to survive, to feed children, we hope the Build Back Better bill will be a lifeline. But right now, we've got to deal with people who wanted to do right and are suffering. I want to close on this note. To create a more perfect union, the Constitution guarantees me that. The Declaration of Independence says that this nation was created to ensure the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I want to say to those who have gained student debt but never completed their degree, they're not in any way bad people, defaulters, deadbeats. No, they're not. Constitution flies off. But they are people who are working in jobs just to survive. They wanted to finish school, but it was so overloaded. Maybe they had to leave to take care of a sick mother or sick father, or maybe they had to leave to take care of younger brothers and sisters. I know those stories. But maybe they're now back in school struggling to just try to get that degree. Let's give them a hope. Let's give them dignity. Let's help them with that default and turn it into success. Let's join in. Congressman, thank you, to cancel student loan debt. And we're not frivolous big spenders. We're trying to put people on the right track so that they can contribute to this great economy and be givers for what is good in America. I hope we can get the job done. And I yield back to the gentleman.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman Jackson Lee. You made me think of the hundreds or even thousands of students and families that I've met throughout my career in education who in elementary school have already made the decision that their children are not going to attempt to go to college despite their brilliance, despite them being artists and scientists and architects and engineers and athletic and musicians and all of those things. Because of the crippling impact of student debt and cost of college, they've already made the decision